The federal government has reiterated its commitment to the implementation of the Climate Change Act and other environmental policies in the country. The Minister of Environment, Alhaji Muhammad Abdullahi, represented by the Permanent Secretary of the Ministry, Engineer Hassan Musa, made the commitment at an event to commemorate the World Environment Day in Abuja. This year's WED, hosted by Sweden, had in attendance representatives of the EU, French Embassy and other stakeholders. Abdullahi, who stressed federal government's commitment to addressing climate change impact and other environmental challenges, said that the effort was to promote a cleaner and healthier environment. The minister said that the aim of the meeting was to create momentum for governments to build on and catalyze impact on multilateral environmental efforts.
From COP26 Glasgow to the next COP, Nigeria has moved a lot. We have, within these last 6 months, we have the Climate Change Act, which is indeed bringing major policy framework and legal framework that will allow us to tackle the climate change challenges. We also have the Energy Transition Program, which we are working with the Federal Ministry of Petroleum and Power to see how we can reduce our emissions into the climate. It is also important that the whole world is now looking towards what can we do to address these challenges. Just last March, the United Nations Assembly on Environment met in Nairobi and discussed a lot of issues. Lastly, we are again in Abidjan to look at the issues of desertification, land degradation, and how we can also work on it. A week later, between 11th and 13th of May, over 40 ministers of the world met again in Denmark, which I was privileged to represent my minister. And what are we discussing? We're always discussing how can we reduce temperature that's rising, how can we reduce our own damage to the environment, because we have an obligation to ourselves and to our future generation. So each and every one of us has a role to play in trying to improve our environment.
The French ambassador to Nigeria, Mrs. Emmanuelle Blattman, urged stakeholders and Nigerians to act together towards addressing environmental challenges in an integrated manner without any further delay.
For a long time, France has placed issues such as climate change, renewable energy, and protection of the biodiversity as the main priorities of its foreign policy. We also consider that responses to crises that affect global public goods are fundamentally multilateral. And as such, 2015 marked an important turning point with the adoption of the Paris Agreement and the 2030 Agenda for Sustainable Development. Although still fragmented, often, global awareness of these issues is hopefully growing. France is playing its full part in this effort within the international community and is deploying a comprehensive diplomacy to respond to the urgency of climate and environmental crisis. Here in Nigeria, the French Embassy, the French Development Agency, AFD, and their partners, including the Federal Ministry of Environment, are working hard to spread these convictions and to support initiatives of the civil society aiming to reducing the impact of climate change in Nigeria.
The EU ambassador to Nigeria and ECOWAS, Ambassador Samuela Isopi, said that the EU was on the front burner in addressing the impact of climate change to ensure the environment was protected.
The European Union is at the forefront of the world's effort to protect the environment and to fight against climate change, as they both affect directly the life of our citizens. Within the Union, the European Union has set very ambitious goals for emissions reduction, and it aims to be the first continent worldwide to become climate neutral by 2050. Net zero is a common target. Net zero is a policy, and net zero is also at the center of our diplomacy. Indeed, the European Union is also acting on the international scene to encourage other countries around the globe to join our ambitions. Part of this fresh drive has been inspired by young people who have voiced their concerns across the globe and asked the world leaders to take action. We saw them here in Abuja last Saturday when we joined forces together with them in a symbolic walk and clean-up exercise of the Jabi Lake and Park to mark together this year's World Environment Day. A way to sensitize citizens on the dangers posed to our planet by unsustainable practices, such as plastic pollution, and to encourage them in their daily lives to change those practices, to live sustainably, and to help everyone understand that we all have a role to play to protect our environment.